All right. So, welcome, everybody who is joining us both here on the live as well as on the replays from YouTube, all the places I will end up putting this. It's so big and it's so amazing, and I just had to find all of the ways to share it. So, if you joined us yesterday live, we talked about parenthood, we talked about motherhood, we talked about how much we have to learn through that process. And so that was our kickoff, that we just jumped right in with some of the hard shit. But we're going to continue with the hard shit because we're talking about wounds, traumas, and past lives and how they show up in your soul contract. And once again, we'll talk about, each of these ladies' perspectives on what their soul contract is, where they think that they're healing, where they think that they're already kind of like completed their journey. And we've got so many different versions of witchy, intuitive, shamanic women up in here for our panel today. I'm just going to give them a very short intro, and then I'm going to ask each one of them to kind of give you just a little bit more in depth. So first up, we've got Silvia, who is an educator in the public school system. Just one of the best human beings. I could squeeze your face. She's been working with me for a real long time now. I'm collecting her family.
Exactly.
In my courses. Just love her to death. Miss Yvette is one of the most badass firekeeper, shaman, medicine women I have ever experienced in my life. She has been there for me with some very deep healing, not only for me, but for some of the people that I know, and just one of the wisest women I've ever met. We have Gabrielle Celeste, the premier astrologer that I have ever met. And she will tell you that I'm full of shit, but I'm not. So definitely, if you got any questions about the stars and your chart and all that, go to her. She is absolutely insane. I've gotten readings from her myself. It's very, very, very good. And then last but certainly not least, we have Miss Kara. Miss Kara is a intuitive. She does past life healings and readings. She is the founder of Sealth Well Being, which is like a community intuitive work space. It's very juicy, very alive. She also is a breathwork facilitator as well. So let me just let these ladies give you their version of who they are, because I can only do them so much justice, but I want you guys to hear from them. So going in that same order, Miss Silvia, can you give us just a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I think I'm one of the older ladies in this panel. Not the wisest, but I mean,
Lies.
I've been an educator for a long time, but I don't feel that's only one aspect of my life. I'm a daughter, a woman, a mother of three, and I feel so blessed. I've been blessed in my life because along my path, I've been able to find these very important people, these very special people like Abby, like Abigail, people that have been gifted with a special talent. And that has really enriched my life and given me such a wide variety of different experiences. So I think I'm a witness. I witness all these fantastic uh, miracle spiritual things that happen in life. I'm a witness. That's what I am. That's why I'm here.
I love that. I love that. Miss Yvette.
Hi, everyone. Hello, hello to all my beautiful girls back there. So happy to see your beautiful faces. Hi, Silvia. You're not the oldest. Estamos iguales. Remember? But you are very wise. I want to honor that. Okay. I am a curandera. I am the founder of Tapajtiani, and I help people process emotional trauma, and I help them process it through their body, either with homeopathics, body work, or ceremony. One of my specialties and my strengths are spiritual limpias. So I help people not only process emotional traumas that they have either from their past or their present to help them move on, but I also help people, which I kind of got it beat it out to me that you can do this, and next to these wonderful women, you know, spiritual limpias, helping them with curses that they pick up either from family members inherited or from just people that, you know, or circumstances that we find ourselves in. That is what I do. So thank you, Abby, so much for having me here. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. And, you know, being with you ladies, it's just an amazing time to have. So thank you.
Absolutely. Miss Gabrielle.
Well, hi, friends. Thank you, Abby, for having me. My name is Gabrielle Celeste. I am the owner of Agua Astrology, and I host a podcast with my sister, who is also intuitive, Nicole Christine. It's called the Spiritual Sisters Podcast. And in my work, I focus on really guiding and supporting people depending on what they are looking for support with in the areas of soul purpose, career, money, health, love, and all the things using their astrology charts. And I'm also moving into supporting other healers and intuitives and business owners with their businesses and implementing structures and finding just offerings that are in alignment for them and what their businesses want to do. So I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. And Kara, Miss Kara, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me. And yeah, as Abby mentioned, I'm Kara, founder of Sealth Well Being. And yeah, I do past live sessions as well as healings, but also breathwork, meditation, and Reiki. So kind of the full suite of energetic work. And I really love also working with plants and herbs. Been diving into that a lot as well. So yeah, I'm super excited. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I had that like hit that I needed to do this series, and so let's just dive right in. So, number one, wounds, traumas, past lives, all incredibly large things, right? And I really like to know your guys' thoughts about where you feel like you are when it comes to the wounds of your life, of your contract, what you feel like that means. So just might be pretty big too. You might have an answer for it, you might not. It's fine. I'm interested. Kara, can we start with you? Where do you feel like you are when it comes to your soul contract and being a human who goes through things? Let's say it like that.
Yeah. So I think for me, well, I guess I'll start with the soul contract portion. I will just be like very frank and say that as I think almost all of you, I can't see the whole panel, but as a good portion of you on this know, I can't see my own shit. So like I can see other people's shit, but like I can't get my own, stop laughing, Gabby. I can't see everyone else's. I can't see my own. So I'm pretty sure I have asked Gabby, Abby, and Yvette my soul contract. They have all given me different answers. So have other intuitives. And I think for me, I'm at a point where I'm just like, I don't really care what my soul contract is. Sorry, that's probably not the answer we want on this panel.
No, truth, vulnerability, this is what we're here for. And
Yeah,
there's probably 1,000 people who are right there with you.
Yeah, I don't really care. Gabby, I'm still gonna make you look up my business soul contract though. So don't think that that's not counting. But yeah, I think that for me, I'm not like I don't care anymore about my soul contract. I kind of care more about just like, am I growing and evolving as a person? And so where I am on that front, I think I've definitely like learned and grown a lot. And I think like like the process I guess I'd say I'm in now is that I like recognize these like where I get stuck or like my triggers very easily. And then I can automatically like, I don't know if like calm myself down is the right word per se, but like recognize that it's a trigger, especially in romantic like connections or like familial relationships. And even platonic, like even friendships. So for me, like the fact that I can like recognize the trigger and like not react and it not kind of stress me out the way it would have like a few years ago is like growth and progress. And also, I don't think you're someone, I mean, maybe there are people out there like this, but I don't think like you get to a point and you're like, oh, I've absolved all my wounds, all my trauma. I'm done healing. Like, I don't think you ever get to a place of that. It's just like, how much healing do you do? Because then you're always going to get more shit, like until you die to get you to the next level. So for me, I don't think, I mean, as much as I want to just like sit on a beach and be done, which I try to do very hard, it's like never ending. So it's just kind of stop laughing at me, Gabby. It's just like, just never ending. Like it's always going to keep coming. So it's just like now being able to be like, oh, that really hot dude that's emotionally unavailable is a test. So it's just like, that's just an example. I'm not saying all hot men are emotionally unavailable, but just the ones I'm into. So knowing that, right, I can like, not, I can kind of stop it in its track, like that kind of thing. So then it's like, okay, what's like the next thing for me to figure out or realize? That's kind of the path I'm on. So like knowing that it's not necessarily going to end, just like the triggers, the challenges, the wounds are just going to get like, I don't know if I'd necessarily say harder or more challenging, just like different. Like it'll just show up like in different forms.
Okay.
Is that what you asked?
I think it's a good answer. It's an answer. I don't think that there is anybody on here who is going to give a bad answer. I think one of the reasons why these panels are so profound and so good for people is because a lot of the times in this work, in this realm, as you continue to have people who are in the spiritual community coming to you, coming around you as you continue to expand your awareness of your tribe, you're going to get a lot of different answers. You're going to get a lot of different perspectives. And it's important because without that, you never really can land on where you're at. You can never fully unearth and discover. So I am not mad by anything that we got to say here today. And we're going to get into it. You know, we are into it, right? I'm interested, Yvette, in what your thoughts are for yourself. I know that as the self-proclaimed oldest of the group, you have definitely been through some life. So when you look at it and you look at where you're at now, where do you think your biggest wound or trauma was? And you don't have to, you can be as open as you'd like to be. And where do you feel like you are on that healing journey?
Trauma-wise,
Well, yeah, wounds, traumas, past lives,
well, geez,
within the concept.
I think a few of you have seen me through my journey, and one of my soul contracts that I was bestowed upon was healing my lineage. And it was no joke. You know, you guys saw me for a year. I couldn't even get off the ground. I was tears, pain, illness, processing it. And to honor what Kara says, you get tired of it. You're like, how much longer, how much more of this can I do? And then you stop and think, but you know, my kids, I have to do this because I'm going to pass this on to my kids, right? And my nieces and my nephews. So for me, one of the biggest wounds, as you well know, I've been a bruja in hiding in the closet for a long time. So I've done healings, I've done ceremonies, but I only do it to people who come to me. And now being out of in the open and honoring that part of me has been a huge transition. And even though I've been in this journey, I've actually just recently, I'm open about it, even though the people that are close to me know, and the people that, you know, people come and find me from different places that I don't even know where, from Mexico, to work with me. And I'm like, okay, I mean, you're asking, so I'm gonna provide. So one of the biggest wounds is honoring who I am without being scared and ashamed of it, you know. And another one, that a trauma that I had to work through, was that I was a teen mom and raised in a Catholic environment. I failed as a woman in any way that I was taught to believe, you know, that a woman should be. I got, you know, pregnant out of wedlock. I was a single mom. I had to work. So that was one big trauma that I really had to heal. And during my journey, surprisingly, what I thought my trauma was, which was being a teen mom, it wasn't that. You know, it wasn't that part of it. It wasn't the shame that I had put because society put that on me. It wasn't, and by all means, I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, I tell everybody, the moment my son was born, the moment I found out I was pregnant, he became my motivation, my strength, and my power. And those of you that know me, that's what my kids are. Literally, my motivation, my strength, and my power, you know? And it's interesting because right now in my life, I'm kind of in the stage of the crone where they're flying the nest, and I'm like, wait a minute, you know, if I'm not a mom, what the heck am I? And so that's the stage now, you know, to honor again what Kara says, is there, you're always healing because you're always transitioning into another stage, and you're like, I'm not ready for that yet, hold on. But if you look, for me, it's becoming a very beautiful part of honoring myself and having time to myself and finding out who I am now, you know, who I am, and putting myself first, because I've been a person who has always been open to whoever comes. I go ahead and put them and attend to them. That is one of my purposes. But I'm learning how to take care of myself. And sometimes that means that it's okay for you to say no, which is a very hard word in my vocabulary. So for me, that's what the journey and the trauma is right now, is for me, finding out who I am if I'm not a mother. And my actual trauma was not that for me, I failed society by becoming a single mother. It was completely something different that I had no idea it was there till I was going through the healing process. And let me tell you, when I saw that trauma, you know, I was like, oh my God, it wasn't even a memory of mine. It wasn't even a memory of mine, you know, until I went into that memory cyst and it was pulled out. And I would have never thought, you know, that it wasn't what it was supposed, what I always believed it was. So I was holding pain and shame and always trying to push myself more to prove that I wasn't what society had labeled, what I believe society had labeled me to be. Because I can honestly say the people around me in society don't think like that about me. You know, they've never said anything that I believed it was, but it's what I grew up believing and what I grew up hearing. So all those, for me, that has been my journey. And, you know, I just want to say, so many people that come to us and they say, I want to heal. I'm like, all right. But it's like they want us to just wiggle our nose and wave a wand. It's like, no, I'm going to hold your hand through the healing process, right? It's a process, and healing means feeling. And a lot of times, well, I can't do this. You know, why am I feeling this way? Because you have to feel it to heal it. Because you have to acknowledge what's there to get rid of it. And, you know, even us, sometimes we're like, no more, you know, make it go away. I mean, just make me go away. I can't take this pain no more, you know. And it's hard because telling people, no, I'm here to walk the journey with you and help you heal through it. I'm not here to make it go away. And that's how you heal a trauma, because then you can go ahead and shift the perspective and let go of those attachments that you have to that belief that really isn't true. It's just something that was bestowed upon you, made you believe, or, you yourself gave it to you. So
Yes.
I hope that answers the question. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm
I
a
love
walking
I love the way
trauma.
you yeah, I love the way you said it of you have to feel it to heal it, and that truly is this like that process of recognizing the wound, recognizing the trauma, and being able to get yourself through it and past it. And I think we end up hearing from a lot of people, oh, here is the thing that's in your contract to heal. Here's the wound in your contract. Here's the trauma that you put in there for yourself
Mhm.
on purpose to experience. And so you have somebody come up and say, yeah, this is what is on there. But then we forget that part. As the person who has actually got the wound, got the trauma, we forget, like, oh, well, now that I know about it, it should just go away.
Exactly.
But and there are a lot of practitioners out there. I will be the first one to put like spiritual community a little bit on blast, that there are a lot of practitioners out there that will say, oh, here's what it is, and then not give you steps to help you through. And of course, at the end of the day, like you have to want to stop ingesting the poison that's making you sick, and we'll get into that a little bit about what that can mean. But first, Sylvia, you have definitely, if I know anyone, you have definitely been the person to like have your like crap brought in front of you and you have committed to feeling it. So can you talk a little bit about that and what that was like for you?
Sure. And as a teacher, I was taking notes because of everything you say, guys, because I'm committed to just like doing the work. That's what Abby is talking about.
Like,
I'm
I came
committed
here
to
as a
doing
panelist, I'll leave a student. Leave a student.
and as a witness, I feel like I'm just kind of like the bridge between all these wonderful ladies that are doing all this work and just the ordinary people, like the teacher, ordinary woman that does just like the simple things, the everyday things. Because I mean, like if people are listening to this and sometimes they see all these people that are so gifted and they go like, oh my Lord, but I'm so far away from this. How do they do it? Well, let me tell you that, I mean, like, I'm that person. I'm that person that is on the other side, just like sometimes just, I mean, amazed by all these wisdom and all these just like magic and all these wonderful people around us. And but I can tell you as an ordinary person too, that I mean, like, I think the most important part and what I really liked about Kara is that she said she expressed her vulnerability. Is that how you say it? She said, I'm vulnerable. And that's important for us because when we are on the other side, when we are the ordinary people and we see you guys as this panel, we feel so sometimes so far away from you guys. We feel that you guys have all the answers and we are in somewhere in this dark zone. And then a lot of shame comes. A lot of shame just arises, and we feel so guilty that we're not capable of dealing with all these things that you guys have sorted out. But that's not true. Kara just expressed it, and I know for a fact that that's not how it goes. The story, that's not how it goes. I mean, we are all in the struggle, but I think the most important thing is the awareness that we have. And I think Kara said it, and Yvette too. When you are aware of these patterns that sometimes you have in your life, or because of trauma, because of everything else that goes on in your life, and then you can be aware of those patterns and just find ways, strategies, and just like touch base with like people like you guys and find ways to just like get over them, or just don't feel so bad about them, so not to feel shame or guilt, or just like minimize that shame or guilt, then that's when you start doing the work. So I feel awareness is just like crucial. And I mean, everything will just come by itself. And Yvette said it, it's a process. It's a process. No, just to cut story short, because I'm not an expert here, I'm just sharing my experiences. I can tell you that my awareness came after I had an experience with past lives, regression. I had out of nowhere and out of the bloom, I didn't even know what a regression was. And it sounds very scary. I was just at my yoga class on my mat, and suddenly someone came and said, "Hey, there's a cancellation for a regression therapy. Do you want to take it?" And I was like, "Okay." And when I got there, I was just like, "This is scary. I have no idea what I'm doing here." And I didn't know if this person was going to just show up with a crystal ball or what was going to go. But I mean, it was like, that was my time to have this um awakeness, or it was at my awakening. It was my awakening, my spiritual awakening, to have that past regression, in like that regression to past lives. And for me, this has been a way to heal trauma that has been passed over many lives, and that I keep facing and I keep coming across in this life. It's incredible, but these are patterns. But I mean, the most amazing thing was that uh, the healing is just like, I can tell you that there are a few people that I have had healings with that are just like this. I know it sounds like very kind of like maybe uh, unreal or surreal, but it has happened. That's why I'm here, and I'm not being paid by anyone. I can tell you that here, Abby is one. This is the marketing part of the session, but Abby, it was just incredible, my experience with her and with this other lady. Her name is Norma Cabrera. She's a person from Mexico. She lives in Mexico. She travels all over the world, and she does these regression therapies, and just like the healing was incredible. The realization that all those nightmares, because I had grown as a very scared little girl, having nightmares every other night, being very, very like in a zone of fear all the time. When I had that experience, suddenly something clicked here, and I went like, there was no need to be afraid anymore, and my nightmares disappeared. And that is healing trauma. And I guess that it was also my own desire, and my soul was ready, and it was so eager to just get over all this pain, as Yvette says, all these that I was just eager to for it to happen. You must have this openness and say, I'm ready, I need a change, I need it happening. And well, this is the ordinary person, so I mean, ordinary experiences.
Not ordinary. Uh, Gabby, what wound are you or were you most afraid to touch on for yourself?
Oh gosh. So I was just thinking about Sylvia's explanation right now, and just like, trauma, and also like what Yvette touched on, and of course Kara. But it's just kind of hard because I'm kind of looking at like the charts really often, and I see what's in the charts for every specific person. And for me, one of the things that's related to the trauma that I have in this lifetime, even coming out as a spiritual person and speaking their spiritual truth, was very much connected to my past life, because in a past life I was murdered for being a witch. I've had multiple lifetimes doing this, and so to be here on planet Earth at a very interesting time where you can really feel the vibrational shift, and I feel like everyone on this call can attest to this, because we're on this call and we're talking about all the things woo. I think that for me, it was just really challenging to come out, because in a lot of ways, I think I'm repeating a past life and fulfilling soul contracts that I didn't address in a previous one. So I see that in a lot of ways. Sometimes it's like a block in my throat, even though like I have a podcast and I'm doing this panel with everyone
Mhm.
here, but it's kind of hard because sometimes I'm like, am I holding myself back? Am I completely speaking my truth? And that inherently is related to like the past life trauma. But because I don't want to offend, because I'm a Cancer and I just like to play neutral. I am Switzerland and all the things. But sometimes just because I feel like being rational, in some instances, you're going to attract more, what do they say? What's the phrase? It's like you'll attract more bees with honey or something like that. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like that, and not just leaning into the hostility that our world right now has enough of. However, I do think that all people's perspectives and different perspectives should be brought to the conversation because it allows you to think outside of the box, to think bigger. So yeah, for me, it's definitely like past life stuff, and it does show up in birth charts.
Mhm.
And it's called the North and the South node. So South node is
Mhm.
where your past life was at, the gifts that you're bringing into this lifetime, what you've already pretty much mastered. Whereas for the North node, it's like what you're bringing into this lifetime, but also you're like running towards that North node, and you're taking all those lessons and the skill sets that you're learning through these
Mhm.
lessons, and you're applying it to achieve what your North node is asking you to do as part of your soul contract in this lifetime. And for me, coming back to the trauma, it's very much like, all right, this was something you didn't complete in the previous lifetime, which we talked about this on the podcast. My last lifetime with my sister was actually World War II. So it's now like addressing what I didn't do then as we go into this next new earth, 5D dimensional consciousness, as many people speak to. So yeah, that would
Yes.
be mine.
All right, everyone. So you know the drill. We're going to pause here and give you some time to digest. We want to keep you as active as we can in here, and just want to give you a little bit of a break, I guess. But if you are hardcore and you want to check out the full 90-minute conversation, no breaks, you can also find that here on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with anyone who you feel like needs to hear this conversation. And also, don't forget to check down in the show notes for the different charitable organizations that these ladies on the panel are uplifting. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in part 2.